Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Alexis if you're new here, and in today's video I'm going to be letting Pinterest choose what I draw. Also, no, this is not sponsored, but I tried this strawberry apricot sugar-free Red Bull and it is honestly my new favorite energy drink. But anyways, back to the video. So I've seen this trend a lot on Instagram, and it's where you just type in person, animal, food, object, and I think doodle is all of them. Oh, and flower too, I forgot that one. So I started off with person, and honestly, this was my least favorite drawing of the whole sketchbook spread, but you know, I was warming up. I hadn't drawn in a while, so I get it that I wasn't super happy with this one. But also I wasn't super happy with the person I did get because they looked kind of boring and not really piquing my interest to draw, which is probably why it didn't turn out as well. I did trace out the guidelines on my iPad, and I feel like that helped me so much in this drawing because I did have a sketch before this and I was really struggling with it until I did the guidelines on my iPad, and then I realized how far the things were in distances from each other. I think I was starting to get into art block at this point because I really wanted to draw, but I felt like everything I made wasn't good enough. So I just forced myself to sketch and do this trend, and it did help me towards the end. I think my favorite thing to draw out of all those prompts was either the flower or the animal, more so leaning towards flower just because I love the way they look. And the shading that I did on this one was actually really nice. I need to get back into practicing portraits again because I was drawing them for a while and I kind of got comfortable with them and was able to convey likeness in them, and I feel like I've definitely taken steps backwards since then. I honestly probably should have been warming up more before starting this drawing just because I was getting frustrated with how it was turning out and the way it looked, because I feel like I did worse on this picture than I have in a while, and I wasn't happy with how it turned out at all. But I'm glad I didn't quit on it because I did have one of my favorite drawings next, so you can look at that and think what you want, but I did enjoy part of this piece. This portrait reminded me of my old style and how I used to draw people, and I honestly hated how I used to draw people, which is why I practiced portraits more and tried to create likeness. So that's why I think I really didn't like this picture. And she took me so long to draw because I wasn't happy with it and I kept erasing. But eventually I just kind of gave up and knew that it was going to be what it was going to be. And it's not my favorite, but it is the first thing I've drawn in a while. Because I don't like how it turned out, I'm not going to force you to watch all of this. I'm going to skip around a lot on this first one. With most of these drawings, I went in with the yellow pencil first just to sketch out all the lines, and then erased the full picture and went in with the smaller lead pencil. And I wanted to have as much contrast in these pieces as possible, so I did color in her hair fully with pencil. The hair was actually probably the only part that I enjoyed and was okay with how it looked. Everything else just looked really bad, and the nose looks crooked, and I don't like how close the lips are to the chin. But after this one, I was feeling a lot more warmed up, and I think you could tell because my sketches were looser and I ended up liking them more. The next prompt that I looked up was flowers, and this one was so much fun to draw and shade in. I absolutely love drawing lilies, so I was super excited when I got them. I also think another reason that these flowers turned out so good is the fact that I already liked the reference that I got, so it just made drawing them 10 times better. Also, I wanted to say I have seen some people do this challenge fully in color, but I felt like just drawing in pencil and doing it that way because I have seen both ways done, and I just wanted to simplify it and do graphite. Although now looking back, color might have been a lot of fun, so I'll have to do this challenge again, but with color. I was also watching some other artists do this trend, and I did notice that when they looked up these words, the first picture was always the same, which was very interesting because I figured Pinterest would kind of mold it to what you like, but I did see the same pictures for almost every video. Of course, every artist has a different style, so the videos were still valid, but I don't know, I just thought it was very interesting. Also, side note, but it was so cold when I was filming this. I guess we had a cold front come in because when I'm recording the audio, it has been absolutely beautiful outside, but when I was actually drawing this, it was so cold, which is why I am wearing a sweater in this video. Also, I think it's funny how in the last video I talked about giving myself grace, and here I am dogging on the first drawing on this page. So I go through phases where I want to draw and where I don't want to draw, and right now I'm in a phase where I'm having to force myself to draw, which at first is not fun, but the more I draw and get comfortable, I start to enjoy the process. I just have to force myself to start. Which is why a video did not get uploaded last week, because I wasn't feeling like drawing, and I did have this video recorded, but I did it too late and I didn't have time to edit it before Monday rolled around. But by the time you're watching this video, I will have run my first 5K with my friend, so I'll definitely do a story time about that because I feel like I haven't done a draw and chat with you guys in a while. Here's where I started to shade in the lily, and this is where I really think it started to come together and turn into what I was imagining. I used my finger to blend out the harsh lines from the pencil, and I just love the way it looked. Very technical technique, I know, using my finger to blend, but I don't have any of the smudgers. I know it's just paper, but I honestly just use what I've got, and my fingers just worked perfectly fine. The next topic that I drew was food, and it just so happened this one was a dessert, and I did enjoy drawing this one as well. There's only two things on here that I didn't like drawing. The person is one of them, and then the object is the other. My favorite thing to draw on the food was definitely the whipped cream because of all the different curves and angles. I just had so much fun drawing it and looking at the reference to convey whipped cream. I was honestly kind of hoping to get a dessert with fruit in it just because I've been loving drawing fruit lately, but this one wasn't too bad to draw. It did have a cherry, so I guess it did have one fruit. Just a very small one. Gosh, even as I'm recording this audio, I just keep looking at that face and I do not like it. If you've made it this far in the video, you're an absolute saint because I don't know that I could have watched a video when the first picture turned out the way it did. That's why part of me wishes I did this in color, because then maybe that piece wouldn't have turned out so bad. Maybe not, but just the thought in the back of my mind. As you can see, when I first start to draw, I do very loose sketches and just try to get the shapes of things down, and then I go back in and try to refine and get all the details. The perspective on this drawing was a little bit difficult because the plate wasn't really seen on the front side, but I don't think I got it exact, but I got it well enough that I was happy with the results. But I'm tired of talking, so I'm going to let you guys watch the rest of this drawing and I'll be back on the next one. So the next thing that I drew was an animal, and this one just so happened to be a crow. And this was the perfect space in my sketchbook for this. I couldn't have planned this out any better, just because I had just enough room on that corner for that crow. So I may try to speed run this sketchbook so that I can open up the new one that I said I wasn't gonna buy. It is a lot larger than I thought it was gonna be, but I am so excited for it. It's just not gonna be a travel sketchbook, and that's okay. But I have seen a lot of artists use this sketchbook, and I'm excited to see how it does with alcohol markers. I thought since this was an Ohuhu marker sketchbook that it would do better with markers, and maybe my Ohuhu markers are just old and starting to dry out, but it still does seem streaky when I'm drawing. Honestly, I use my Ohuhu alcohol markers a lot, so that's probably going to be my next art supply investment, is to get a larger supply and more of them, because I do feel like a lot of my markers are drying out. I started off with the 64 set. I don't remember exactly what set that was, but I got it for Christmas probably around 2021. So they have lasted me a while, and I do use them quite often, so I think I should invest in some more. But I'm holding off on that until I have to move, because I don't want to get a new set of large markers and have to pack that before I get a chance to use them. And if I were to get those markers, I definitely need an organizer to keep them where I can see them easier than what I have them in right now, and I'm just not willing to spend that money right now. It is crazy how I'm almost finished with this sketchbook. It's like the fastest I've finished a sketchbook before. But I think that's because the pages are a little bit thicker and there's not as many of them in this sketchbook. Because most of the sketchbooks I get do normally have a lot more pages. which I'm fine with being done with this sketchbook just because I'm not a huge fan of the size of the paper. I think I tend to like more rectangular shapes and not as much square, just because it's harder to fit things in the way that I want to. I'm also just excited for the big sketchbook because I will be able to paint the cover. So what would you guys like to see in my future videos? Because I'm always up for ideas and things that my viewers would like to see. Just because I am kind of going through an art block right now, it'd be really great if you commented some ideas. Also, I'm so sorry for all the noise in the background. I am currently watching my parents' dogs, and they don't know how to be quiet when I'm recording my audio. It seems like anytime I'm doing that, they decide to make a lot of noise, so I'm sorry if you can hear them in the background. But back to this picture. So the crow is pretty much done. I just decided to fill it all the way in since they are black. And I really like how this one turned out, and it was really easy for me to draw, and I didn't feel like I erased as much as I did in the other ones. Also, I'm really gonna try to get a video out next week, but with me having the 5K this weekend and having to work, I don't know how much recording I'll be able to do, but I may try to just record and edit a video and just have no commentary on it, so it would just be like a draw along with me. Then after that video, when I actually have a weekend to fully do the recording and the audio, I will do a draw and chat with me, and I'll fill you in on how my life is going and how that 5K went. But as always, I will let you guys finish watching me draw this one, and I'll be with you in the next one. So the next thing that I drew was an object, and this was my second least favorite thing to draw, the person being my first, but this one is a close second because I do not like the shapes in this picture, and I didn't really like how it turned out either. This is where I definitely think some color would have helped the piece, because I feel like making this phone green would have made it look so much better. But this art challenge did get me out of my comfort zone, because I probably never would have drawn this phone otherwise. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it still didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, but here we are. You can tell by the end that I kind of just gave up and just scribbled out the phone cord because I didn't feel like putting in more detail into this drawing. I know it may not seem like it, but I do really enjoy making these videos for you guys, so it does kill me when I'm not able to upload, and I really hope that I'm able to do a lot more videos in the future, but with working full-time and even sometimes on the weekend, it just doesn't leave a lot of time to do the videos that I want to. And I don't want to just halfway do videos, so when I don't post, it's not that I can't, it's just the fact that I don't want to put out videos that I am not proud of. And I do appreciate you guys' patience with me as I'm trying to figure out a schedule. I also didn't get the full recording for this drawing and the doodles drawing because apparently my phone ran out of storage and I didn't realize that it stopped recording because it is on a tripod, so I didn't see that it stopped, and I am really sorry about that, but I do show the final results at the end. Also, let me know if you like the last video's video angle or this one better, because I do use two different tripods and I never know which ones you guys would like better, so I kind of switch back and forth between the two. I like this tripod because it has a straight on angle, but a lot of times my hands cover the screen when I'm drawing, as where if I use the shorter tripod, it is more of a crooked angle, but you could see more of my drawing process than this one. And here's where I scribbled the cord, and honestly, I don't think it looked that bad compared to the rest of the piece. And last but not least, the last thing that I did for letting Pinterest choose was doodles. And I got these cute little star doodles, and this is how it turned out. Thank you for watching.